Hey, everybody, welcome to Pep Talk, the podcast that gives you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God, where we take all these complex medical conversations, these health and wellness conversations, the biohacks that you're hearing about on social media and TikTok. We break them down, we make them digestible, we give you the truth, we give you some factionable things that you can take action steps on today. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Naputi. I'm going to take you down this journey today. We're going to talk a little bit about a myth. A big myth that you need to be aware of. And it's about cholesterol. It's about that big, bad, scary C word that you've heard about that I've been telling people for 20 years isn't the culprit that you think it is. And now finally, science has caught up with real science. So folks, let's talk about this. Cholesterol isn't the problem in your heart. Inflammation really is. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but if you go back and you look at cholesterol levels, go back and look at the normal cholesterol levels in 1980. 1980, normal cholesterol was 300 on a blood test. Okay. Then there was a decision in the 90s to lower that down to 250. Then there was a decision in the 90s and 2000s to go down to 200. Now they want you to be below 199. Can I talk to you a little bit about that? If we saw a reduction of cholesterol and a reduction of heart disease, I would say, hey, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. Let's keep lowering cholesterol. But guess what? We haven't. We've seen the opposite. We've actually seen lowering cholesterol causes an increase in heart disease, or at least we're seeing an increase. And by the way, who are those folks that are making those decisions about lowering cholesterol? Did you know that the majority, and I mean vast majority of people who sit on the boards to make the decisions on what's the normal level of cholesterol or the appropriate level of cholesterol on the blood test, did you know that the majority of those people actually have vested interest in cholesterol lowering medications? So they make money whenever you sell more cholesterol drugs. So lowering cholesterol hasn't lowered heart disease. Lowering cholesterol hasn't fixed anything other than it's caused a generation of some serious problems because cholesterol is necessary and needed for the body. Did you know that our body makes cholesterol? Did you know that the liver uses the sun and the food we eat to make cholesterol? Did you know that the majority of the hormones that are produced in your body, including your testosterone, your progesterone, and your estrogen, your sexual hormones, are made up of cholesterol? And then if you're taking a statin drug, a cholesterol lowering drug, guess what your body can't make? Can't make those hormones, can it? What's it going to cause? Hormone imbalances. What's that cause? A whole lot of problems. I can't tell you how many men over the age of 30, really 40 and 50 that are on statin drugs that come into my office and they have all these hormone problems. We can't fix your hormones if you're on a statin. What else do cholesterol lowering medications affect? Well, they affect your liver. Well, the liver is the organ in the body that produces cholesterol. If the liver gets stressed out because the medication is taken, now the liver can't do what it's supposed to do. And now we get all kinds of liver problems, including high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, insomnia, fatigue, and muscle issues. Oh yeah, statin drugs have a big side effect of causing your muscles not to work like they're supposed to. That's why a lot of men and women, when they start taking statins, get back pain, kidney pain, and hip and joint pain because the medications cause that. And oh, by the way, did you know that your brain, research tells us that 80% of our brain is made up of fat, and 100% of that fat is made up of cholesterol. So I'm telling you that we have people that come see us in our practices for functional medicine and functional neurology all the time, and they're having neurocognitive decline, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. They're having forgetfulness. They're just brain fog real bad. But if they're on a statin, there's not a whole lot I can do to help them. Why? Because that statin blocks the ability of your body to make cholesterol, which is necessary for the brain to function. And oh, by the way, have you ever heard of nerve problems like sciatic nerve pain, neuropathies, pins and needles in the hands and feet, and erectile dysfunction? Did you know that all the nerves in the body are coated with a lining, like a coaxial cable of that cholesterol? So whenever you take those cholesterol drugs, it causes problems with all those other issues in the body. And we've been telling people this, I have been for 20 years, because science doesn't lie. Physiology doesn't lie. Now all of a sudden, because there's this new invention called lipid nanotechnology for injections, where they're now able to manipulate your genetic code with certain injections. There's an injection coming down the pipe that they want to give you a vaccine, which is not a vaccine. It's an injection really to lower cholesterol. It splices your gene so that it doesn't produce it. You don't have to take that statin drug anymore, but because they're going to alter your genetic makeup for cholesterol. You're still going to have the same side effects. They're still trying to accomplish the same thing. But what I want you to understand is the latest data and research has clearly shown that taking statin drugs, it does lower the risk of heart attacks, but it does it by less than 2%. 2%. The latest data and research shows that taking a statin drug can lower a heart attack by 2%. Diet, lifestyle, exercise, stress management can lower it way more than that alone. So the question should be asked, not what should I do to lower my cholesterol, but why is my cholesterol high in the first place? Let me share this study with you. This is a new study that was just published recently. Cholesterol is a substance found in nearly every cell of the body, is essential for good health. Your body uses it to make hormones and protects the cell membranes, digest food, and manufacture vitamin D, which is not a vitamin, it's a prohormone. The liver manufactures most of the cholesterol the body needs for nutrients, and it extracts it from the foods of your body and helps your body make it so that your body can use the cholesterol for normal physiological benefits. Animals use cholesterol in the same way that humans do. This means that meats of beef and pork and chicken and other things have similar levels of cholesterol that can be very beneficial for the human body. 2015-2020 dietary guidelines addresses the need for dietary cholesterol. It should be in our system. But lowering inflammation is what really lowers the risk of heart disease, not lowering cholesterol. Your C-reactive protein and your homocysteine levels are much more indicative of a risk of cardiovascular issues such as a heart attack or cardiovascular death than cholesterol is. The latest study done in 2004 shows that yes, statins do lower the risk of heart attacks, but only by 2%. It's inflammation. Inflammation is what's linked to cardiovascular disease. The majority of inflammation comes from problems in the GI tract. The normal excess amounts of inflammation come from sensitivities to certain foods because your bacteria in your gut is not balanced the way it should be. The condition of leaky gut syndrome is one of the major contributing factors to chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation leads to autoimmune type issues. Chronic inflammation leads to changing of the blood vessels. It causes arterial and atherosclerosis, hardening of those arteries, which then puts excess pressure on the cardiovascular system, which then increases the risk of heart attacks, cancer, and obesity. Studies such as these have shown that inflammation is the number one underlying factor for cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes, and many other conditions like chronic pain, neuropathy, migraines, and other issues, not cholesterol. The public has been lied to. Drugs are not the answer. Drugs are not the answer. In order to get your body to reduce inflammation, here's what you need to understand. You need to understand, first of all, the blueprint of your body. If you could understand what foods you should eat, foods you should avoid, the exercise you should have, the genetic risk factors you have for poor absorption of nutrients, the risk factors you have to certain compounds like, fats, carbs, proteins, sugars, coffee, that kind of stuff, caffeine, etc. Then you'll have an idea of genetically how your body responds to certain compounds, and do you have a high inflammatory response? If you understand from a genetic test how that works, and then you have a stool sample to look at the bacteria makeup in your gut, because most people, 95% of the population, don't have the right production of bacteria in their gut. If you look at other areas of the world that don't deal with heart disease like we do, if you look at places like blue zones in Okinawa, Japan, or places in Greece or Italy, or even in some areas of California, where they really focus on having good gut health, eating good, clean foods, having a lot of good, healthy salt, that reduces the inflammation in their body. But you got to understand how your body works. I always talk about that self-care is the real healthcare, but you can't take care of yourself unless you understand yourself, how yourself works. And look, in many cases, your physician has an insufficient understanding of the damage of the pharmaceutical drugs that you're taking are causing on your body, even Tylenol and aspirin. You ever heard people say as safe as a Tylenol? What if I told you 17,000 people died annually from taking Tylenol? That's a lot. It was interesting to me to find out that most doctors are often quick to prescribe pills, potions, lotions, and etc. instead of giving people lifestyle habits. Now, I'm going to tell you, people are going to ask me, well, how should I eat? Keto, carnivore, low fat, no fat? What should I do? What should I do? Well, what I always tell people is let's find out your body type. Let's find out your blood type. Let's do a genetic profile to find out what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat. If we can do a stool sample, that really puts it all together. And all that information is going to tell us the good, the bad, the ugly about you, what you should do for yourself. But the side effects of anti-inflammatory medications are even more stronger than the side effects of statin drugs. They result in a lot of medications being pulled, like Vioxx, and because of the risk of heart attacks and strokes. I mean, we even see the risk of heart attacks and strokes with statin drugs. Some of these medications also mess up the ability for our body to absorb certain nutrients. You take a statin, you can't absorb CoQ10. If you're on a statin drug right now, please go get some CoQ10 and start taking that every day. If you're taking a statin drug, go take some magnesium every day. And here's how you dose magnesium. Go get a magnesium glycinate. It's the easiest absorbable form of it. Take your body weight times 10.6 and divide that by 2.5. That's how many milligrams a day of magnesium you should be supplementing. If you're on a statin drug, go get yourself vitamin D3, liquid D3, and go get some K2 as well. K2 is a fermented form of soy. It really helps because a lot of these drugs, these statin drugs, can lead to blood sugar issues, neurodegenerative problems, musculoskeletal disorders, cataracts, and even cancer. So cholesterol is not the enemy. It's not the enemy. And in a study that was done in 1968 and then repeated again in 1973, researchers found in a double-blind randomized controlled study the effects of vegetable oil versus saturated fats in coronary artery disease. The results were left unpublished until 2016. You know what they found? And it was published in the journal, the British Journal of Medicine, British Medical Journal. They found through the randomized double-blind control study that it was the vegetable oils and the inflammatory markers in the body that led to the coronary artery disease and heart disease, not cholesterol. There was no correlation between increased cholesterol and heart disease and heart attacks. There was one study called the Jupiter study that's been debunked and disproven so many times, not even funny. The reason why you should take statins for cholesterol. It is so bass-ackwards, it's not even funny. The researchers found that every 30-point drop in total cholesterol, there was a 22% increase in death from cardiovascular disease. Let me say that again. Holy crap, this was in the 1970s. They found this, and it wasn't published until 2016. The researchers found that every 30-point drop in cholesterol, there was a 22% increase in risk of death from cardiovascular disease. And on autopsy, the group that ate vegetable oil versus the group that ate real fat, butter, animal fats, etc., had an increase of atherosclerosis plaque in their arteries than the group that actually ate animal fats and real butter. One of the biggest lies that you've ever been told is about the food pyramid. You know that, right? 14 servings a day of carbohydrates. Are you kidding me? That's diabetes. Dairy, if you're a cow, you should have cow's milk. If you're a human, you should have human milk. I'm not a big fan of dairy for most people. If you can go gluten-free and casein-free, a lot of times that's going to reverse a lot of the diseases people have because our bodies aren't made to eat those foods. This is what bothers me. I read too much and I know too many things. I get really ticked off when I see that people have been dying. I can't tell you how many patients that I see that are on a statin that come into my practice that have some neurocognitive disorder, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, whatever. And it is a fight with their doctor who is ignorant to the studies. And I'm like, look, I can't help him when he's on a statin. Well, this guy's going to have a heart attack if he gets off a statin. BS, idiot. How can we possibly improve neurocognitive function if we can't get cholesterol to the brain? Maybe this guy's cholesterol is going up because there's damage to the brain and is trying to repair it. Maybe this guy's cholesterol is going up because he's deficient in vitamin D. Maybe his cholesterol is going up because he's not eating enough good fats and his liver's trying to produce more. Maybe you should pull your cranium out of your rectum, doctor, and read your guidance physiology textbook that shows you that cholesterol is super important. And maybe you should pay more attention to your HC reactive protein blood test. You should pay attention to fasting insulin. You should pay attention to iron levels and glucose levels, A1C, and magnesium and vitamin D levels and hormone levels than anything else. Stop just doing what the pharmaceutical companies are telling you to do. How's that working out for you? It's not. You're the third leading cause of death in America right now, iatrogenic death. Ridiculous. So, natural methods to reduce inflammation, control your blood sugar through fasting, eating good fatty acids, omega-3 fish oils, avoiding vegetable oils, avoiding margarine, avoiding I can't believe it's not butter. Sorry, Fabio. I can't believe it's not butter causes heart disease. Eating real butter, eating animal fats, having tallow, having lard, having good healthy fats, taking coconut oil every day, putting it on your body, extra virgin olive oil daily, making sure that your iron levels are balanced, fixing leaky gut, fixing deficiencies in magnesium, getting your hormones balanced, getting your vitamin D balanced. Those are the keys. Those are the keys to making sure that you have a happy, healthy, balanced cholesterol and a happy, healthy, balanced brain. Statins are not the problem. Inflammation is the problem. I always tell you guys, knowledge is power, but wisdom is taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. And if you don't know the truth, you can't do anything about that. The study now confirms listen to this, I'm almost done. 2024 study in the Lancet confirms that statins increase diabetes risk with high intensity risk by 36% increased. Man, by the way, the Jupiter study in 2008 said that as well, that statins increase the risk of diabetes. So your cholesterol med you're taking is increasing your blood sugars. Statins also increase the risk of cancer, cataracts, neurological disease. Long-term use is associated with pancreatic cancer, especially if over 5 years of use. Updated guidelines could lead to a 40% reduction in statin prescription, which means that 40% of the people who are taking them don't need to be taking statins. Insulin resistance, not high LDL or cholesterol, is the primary driver of atherosclerosis, and leaky gut health, and metabolic dysfunction play a significant role in cardiovascular health. So the answer is a holistic approach to heart health is recommended beyond just taking a statin drug. I told you guys the truth will set you free. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back, listen to this podcast, watch it again, and share with some friends and family that you know that are taking statins. And I'm not telling you to go throw that stuff in the trash. What I'm telling you is to look back and take a common sense, comprehensive approach by measuring your physiology, getting real, tried and true therapeutics, learn how to eat well, sleep well, move well, think well, breathe well, be well for your body. And that's the key to the truth that will set you free. All right, folks, I got to go. Until we meet again, I'm Dr. Eric Naputi. God bless you. God bless America, and God bless the world. Stay smart out there, folks, and I'll see you next time. Be well.